Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of the Weekly Waffle. I am joined by Tom, Ashlee, and Callum. We also have some changes coming to the channel, but you have to stick around to the end of the video to find that out. So I think our first, topic for this week, the Premier League finished today. If you joined our Soccer Sunday live stream, then you'll know everything about it. But we're going to go through the main talking points, and we'll start off with Ashlee. Do you want to give your opinion on Manchester United coming third and getting Champions League spots?
Of course I do. Manchester United, going into the game, I was a bit iffy. Didn't know whether we were going to do it because we usually bottle everything. Obviously, we needed a draw or a win against Leicester. But if we drew, I think Chelsea had to lose. But yeah, it was a good game. It was an end-to-end game at the start, in the first half, and then we got a penalty in the second half, which really changed the direction of the game. Anthony Martial being brought down in the box by Johnny Evans and Wes Morgan simultaneously, and then Jesse Lingard with an absolute screamer in the 98th minute.
Imagine conceding to Lingard.
Slotting it past Kasper Schmeichel and sealing the third place spot. So I'm absolutely buzzing about this. Shows how far United have come since the restart, because I think we were 8 points behind Leicester when the league started up again. And obviously finishing third is a huge achievement for us.
Yeah, like that's. I've also got to mention Johnny Evans getting sent off. He's still Manchester United deep down as well.
Just helping us. He's been helping us.
he just wanted you to get top four, basically. Also, Chelsea got top four as well. 2-0 win over Wolves. Well, Chelsea win. Apparently, Wolves were pretty poor. For us, but yeah, that's basically it. I think everyone was expecting Chelsea to get top four. Probably not at the start of the season, but I think like once football restarted. Unless anyone else thought differently. Yeah. I personally thought Chelsea were going to get it.
I think it was a bit of a weird one with Frank Lampard coming in, to be fair. You know, he's only just had that 1 year at Derby, coming in to a Chelsea side. He's got that transfer ban, but I think it's got to be said that he's done a good job considering conditions he's been put in to get top four. I think, and the FA Cup final as well. I think he can be happy with that.
So Chelsea as well with Timo Werner and Jesus Christ, they are going to be
scary.
That's so scary. Yeah. And then potentially even Kai Havertz, which is.
Just imagine if they get Kai Havertz.
I think they need to sort that back four though, because we've seen a lot of the time their back four's pretty dodgy, especially Kepa in goal as well.
Yeah, I was going to say, especially the goal.
Yeah, Kepa got dropped today for Willy Caballero. Apparently, he had a decent game, but he didn't really have much to do anyway. So, yeah. Then I think we'll go down to the bottom. Aston Villa survived relegation after a 1-1 draw away at West Ham, and that sparked a lot of controversy about that Sheffield United goal that got allowed against Sheffield United earlier. I think it was the first game after the restart, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. It was honestly like I got like no. Anyway, then Watford and Bournemouth also got relegated as well. Watford losing to Arsenal 3-2 after going 3-0 down. They tried to mount a comeback. From what I heard from Meg on Soccer Sunday, it seemed like Watford were really pushing for it towards the end. I thought Arsenal were going to bottle it personally. I don't know what you guys thought, but I thought Watford were definitely going to win.
Oh, I thought Arsenal were going to bottle it, to be fair, because I knew Watford had something to play for, and Arsenal just didn't.
Did seem like it. You know, Troy Deeney beefing reporters after the game. What he does.
And then Bournemouth obviously getting relegated as well, even though they got a 3-1 win away at Everton with our very own Callum, who watched that.
Jordan Pickford is terrible.
I'll talk us through it.
Jordan Pickford is terrible.
Okay, fair enough.
Jordan Pickford is terrible.
No, Moise Keane was very, very, very good. He impressed. Probably should have got 2 or 3, to be fair. He did miss a few chances, but looked like a bright spot. Besides that, Jordan Pickford is terrible.
Yeah, I think it's definitely his spot for the Euros is definitely being under threat. Nick Pope as well, obviously, with the 14 clean sheets. He should probably be number one for England personally. I don't think
Pickford isn't even backup goalkeeper anymore. He's literally been dropped to third or even a fourth string goalkeeper.
Honestly, I'd rather Ben Foster or Dean Henderson as backup.
Ben Foster's so underrated. It's unreal.
He really is.
He's really old though, hasn't he? Retired from any sort of international
I
call.
wouldn't be surprised. Yeah.
I
wouldn't be surprised.
He's definitely going to leave Watford. He's still Premier League quality. Definitely.
Well, I think Gareth Southgate will still take Jordan Pickford to the Euros next year.
Yeah.
Because it's Jordan Pickford.
Yeah, because if we get into a penalty shootout, we'll sub him on because clearly Pickford's better at taking penalties than he is at being a goalkeeper.
It's so silly. Yeah, and then Man City claiming a 5-0 win over Norwich, meaning that Ederson got Golden Glove with 16 clean sheets, I think. And then, can we just talk about Kevin De Bruyne? He's so good.
Yeah, different gravy, mate. Different gravy.
I believe it is 33 goal contributions, 13 goals and 20 assists in 35 Premier League. Is it Premier League games?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You could argue he's one of the best seasons in Premier League history. And if a certain English little fraud in midfield steals PFA Player of the Year from him, we're rioting here at the Panenka podcast.
Yeah, if you saw our little short...
I
was going to say, if you saw our little short video earlier in the week on it, well, me and Ashlee voiced our opinion, and we definitely don't think Jordan Henderson should be winning it at all. Kevin De Bruyne definitely deserves it. To be honest, there are probably a couple of players that deserve it ahead of Jordan Henderson.
I don't even think Henderson's. I could probably name 4 or 5 Liverpool players that deserve it more than Henderson.
It's just a sideways pass version, really.
Like Salah, Mane, Van Dijk, Alisson, from what he's played, probably deserves it more than him. And then it's just like Robertson, Arnold.
I mean, if you see our win percentage with Henderson compared to without him, there's a big difference. But
yeah, but just because he's important to your team doesn't mean he's the best player in the league.
That's why if we hadn't won the league, there'd be no chance that if we'd have come second, there'd be no.
If you'd have come second, he wouldn't have even been in the top 20 for Void.
Probably not.
Like, if a Liverpool player wins it, I'm happy if it's Sadio Mane. That's it. If Sadio Mane wins it, I'll accept that.
I don't know. I think just honestly, if anyone else than De Bruyne gets it, then that's just it's a champ. That's absolutely ridiculous. I don't know really any other noticeable games. Liverpool picked up a 3-1 win away at Newcastle. To what we thought Newcastle were in again for after all, they had a 1-0 lead again and blew it again against Liverpool. Literally exact same scoreline. Literally went exact same as the reverse fixture. Dwight Gale putting them ahead of in the first minute, and then I think there was Origi, Mane, and Van Dijk making it 3-1 as well. Tom, did Liverpool look any off the pace at all, or they were back at their best?
I mean, the first goal, everyone was just asleep from the. It was just like the start of the game. I don't think anyone's expecting it. Van Dijk taken down. I think it's a Maximan in the centre circle. And then Shelby, fairly enough, just quickly takes it, pings it over to Dwight Gale, not to pass Alisson Moss. I think slight blame for Neco Williams keeping the line. Obviously, he was keeping him on side. Everyone else was up a bit. But I think it was one of those games. Go on.
Isn't it like one of the quickest goals in Premier League history?
It's the quickest that we've conceded a goal, yeah.
So it's the quickest goal that Liverpool have ever conceded, and it's the quickest goal on the final day of the season ever. So, it was really weird because we literally we started the Soccer Sunday, and literally Tom was like, "Oh, Newcastle score." We're like, "Oh, okay." Literally, no one was expecting it at all. But yeah, I don't think there's really anything else from the final day.
Like I said, the game was a bit like classic Liverpool, where we then just cruise possession. Then luckily we got a couple goals, and it does mean that we equal the most wins of Premier League history of City with 32. I thought that was something to mention, but apart from that,
God, Liverpool are not winning it next year. And
Yeah.
then, the rest of the games is Burnley 1, Brighton 2, Palace 1, Tottenham 1, meaning Tottenham got Europa League. The celebrations at the end just shows you like the fact that Tottenham are celebrating getting sixth after last year is. Then. And then the last one was Southampton coming to 3-1 win at home to Sheffield United. I think it just shows that Shea Adams really needed that goal against Man City to really kick him off because he's scored like 2 or 3 since then. So
also, before we forget about it, speaking of Brighton, it looks like they're about to sign. I believe they're about to sign Adam Lallana on a free.
Yep.
And also, it looks like Lovren is going to Zenit for about, is it 10 million?
Yeah, both players weren't in the lineup or on the subs bench, so it looks like it's going that way.
And also, before I forget, the second greatest left back in Premier League history has retired today.
Rest in peace.
Leighton Baines announced his retirement. We all thought he was leaving because he was saying that he wanted first team football. But I think he realised, you know what, I can't play any more football after playing with that awful Everton squad for one more year. I'm going to retire.
is he part of the coaching team or is he literally no plans?
I think he's just retired. There's rumours of him going to coach at Wigan, apparently.
I could see that. Although, to be fair, with their financial problems, which we'll get onto in a little bit, I think I doubt they'll probably get anyone in at the moment. Just earlier in the week as well, obviously Liverpool had their trophy lift on Wednesday after a 5-3 home win against Chelsea. Although I do want to say, Pulisic, oh my God. That was
He's something to look forward to next season. That's
inside
scary.
out between 2 players, makes Joe Gomez and just
Oh,
good goal.
that Chelsea team.
Ziyech, Werner. Imagine Ziyech, Werner, Havertz, Pulisic. That team will score goals for fun.
If Lampard can make that work, that'll be unbelievable.
I think Chelsea definitely have to be up there for title contenders next year. But obviously, we'll go into that in detail. I presume we'll do like a Premier League predictions video at some point later on in August, I think.
Probably.
Yeah, some banging goals as well from Liverpool. Naby Keita, the first goal. Trent Alexander-Arnold with another classic free kick. Firmino actually scored at Anfield, which was a change. So, yeah. Although I've just realised that literally it was all 3 of them, all 3 midfielders, Keita, Wijnaldum, and Oxlade-Chamberlain all scored.
Also, about that Trent free kick, something quite interesting happened from that. Frank Lampard and Jurgen Klopp got into a little bit of an argument. And I believe if I quote Lampard directly here,
Please don't.
Don't do the whole thing.
The certain word is getting blanked out. You've only won one Premier League title. Why are you giving it the in Biggin? Which, you know, a bit of cheeky banter from Lampard. But he's got a point, but it's a bit salty. You did need to relax a little bit.
Yeah. But I think at the same time, you know, he was under pressure at the time. Obviously, Liverpool have nothing to play for, and then obviously Chelsea trying to get top 4. I think they basically got top 4 anyway, but even still, yeah. And then on the Wednesday as well, Manchester United won, West Ham won. The game that sealed West Ham's survival and put Manchester United's Champions League hopes on strings. Arguably, do you think they should have won it, Ashlee?
West Ham or United?
United
shouldn't have won it. We were so poor during that game. We kept giving the ball away. It was like against Chelsea. We couldn't seem to find any players of our own, and we kept passing it to West Ham players. But we couldn't fathom any chances at all. It was quite bad. And then obviously Mason Greenwood, the shining light in this team, scored with a right-footed shot past Fabianski. But yeah, I don't think we deserve to win. I think West Ham got to deserve a draw.
Yeah. Then on the Tuesday, well, actually, this leads me on something quickly. We didn't mention it on the last week. I actually completely forgot. But Watford sacking Nigel Pearson was such a bad decision in hindsight. Like, I can't believe that they actually did that. Apparently, it was after a row with the owner, Gino Pozzo. And they brought in Hayden Mullins, the under-23 coach, to manage their last 2 games. And then they ended up losing 4-0 to Man City.
To be brutally honest, I'm glad they've gone down. If you run your club like that and that's the way you treat managers, especially someone who I think is as good as Nigel Pearson, who I think, hearing what we heard about and watching the highlights of the Arsenal game, I honestly think he probably could have got a point against that Arsenal team and probably would have saved them. Or maybe even won, And Pearson in the Championship would have done a good job. I really feel like they should have given Pearson a chance. But now that they're in the Championship, I don't really think Watford have the luxury of just sacking any manager they want. They're going to have to give someone a chance, whether that is Mullins or whether they go find someone else.
I think, was it like three managers they've sat this season?
Yeah, they had Javi Gracia, and then they brought back Quique Sanchez Flores, and then they got rid of him, and then brought Nigel Pearson in, who, like, Nigel Pearson, considering he took them from, like, bottom of the league, like, they were, like, the Norwich of now, like, they were dead and buried, and then he brought them back up to basically, I think they would have survived probably, but the fact that they sacked him then is such a poor decision. Villa then beat Arsenal as well on Tuesday, 1-0 win. I thought it was a really good goal by Trezeguet as well into the bottom corner. And then on Monday, nothing really matched. Brighton 0, Newcastle 0, Sheffield United 0, Everton 1, Wolves 2, Palace 0. Richarlison with a power header.
Disgusting. Absolutely
disgusting. Actually, I believe, did he not handball it for one of Bournemouth's penalties?
It wasn't a handball, but it was 100% a penalty. So basically, if I angle this right, he's coming in, and to get the ball to control, he goes like that with like this part of his arm.
Right.
A clear handball, and he does it while literally looking at the referee. Like, it's so stupid, and it's like, we probably would have won that game if we didn't go 1-0 down, especially with the way Moise Keane was playing.
Yeah, but I think Moise Keane, like, he definitely put on an impression today. Obviously scoring that goal, and then literally, like, gathering by your reactions off Sunday, it was literally like every minute was, Moise Keane, like, every time. He'd clearly done something.
Yeah, that might be his breakout game. That may be what convinces Ancelotti. Because what a performance he put in.
Yeah, because I remember when you were saying that Calvert-Lewin was replacing him, you said that was a bad substitution.
Yeah, 100% was.
Yeah. Okay, so I think that's it from the Premier League, unless I've missed anything.
No, I don't believe you have.
I don't think we have. But yeah, so I think we'll go on to the Championship. I think Wednesday night it finished, and it's the best league in the world for unpredictability. I'm sorry, but it just is. Like, the final day of the Championship season was up there with one of the best ever. Like, there's literally, like, on my screen, like, I'm looking at all the scores, and there's 4. Like, there's so many goals all over the place. I think we'll go with the top of the Championship first. West Brom are back in the big time again. No one really wants them back. Is what I'm gathering. No one cares. Like, they did it by the skin of their teeth, getting a 2-2 draw versus QPR. All they had to do was win, but they drew it. To be fair, they nearly lost it. They weren't that great. As did Brentford, completely bottled it. 2-1 loss at home to Barnsley, who were bottom of the league going into that, and then ended up staying up. This league sometimes is absolutely unbelievable. Barnsley
is a massive fault.
Like, how Brentford went into last Saturday, 8 games in a row won, and they were on the charge for second place, and then they go and lose to Stoke 1-0, and then they lose at home to Barnsley, bottom of the league 2-1.
Yeah. I mean, realistically, they should have won if Fosu put the chance away.
Yeah,
because I don't know if anyone else watched the game. Fosu gets it squared across to him and tries to control the ball in a weird way, which leads to him slipping. He's able to gather his balance back, but by the time he slipped, the defender has had plenty of time to catch up to him and just clear it. And then I believe the player who scored for Barnsley, it was his first senior goal as well, and it was the goal.
Yeah, it was Odewar, I think, something like that. Clark Odewar. He's a left winger. Yeah, he was there at the back post. Moet played it down to, I think it might have been Jacob Brown. I might be wrong. Then he squared it across the goal for Odewar to put his first goal in and save Barnsley from relegation. And then Fulham got a 1-1 draw away at Wigan. Fulham, basically, I think if Fulham had won, they probably would have gone up unless their goal difference wasn't as good as West Brom's. But they were definitely in with a chance.
I think they needed West Brom to lose.
Yeah. Either way, it was very close. So 3 teams in the final day going into the top 2, and then the table didn't change at all from that perspective. Playoffs. Unfortunately, Ethan is not here because Nottingham Forest lost 4-1 at home to Stoke. They were 5th going into this tie. They had 5 goal difference over Swansea, who were 7th, and 3 points off. All they had to do was get a point, and they were survived. What did they do? They lost 4-1 at home to Stoke.
But then also the reason Swansea were able to get up there, I don't think you're getting away with this, Lewis. Swansea were able to go to the Majestic, I believe, and beat you 4-1 with goals from Liam Brewster, 2 from Wayne Routledge and Liam Cullen in a great performance by Swansea. And here, it doesn't even look like Reading played that bad. You were able to get 14 shots off. It just didn't look like you were able to finish your chances.
I think considering we had a red card in the 40th minute, so I think from then on we're not great at all. So I was to be honest, I was going into the final day honestly, if we had lost, I was expecting it because Swansea were obviously going for it. They needed to score goals badly as well. So yeah, they deserved it. Liam Brewster's first goal, I don't know if you guys saw it, but that was a magnificent goal. He got right corner. And then their second goal, Wayne Routledge. Apparently he handballed it, but he brought it down and literally just looped it over the keeper. It was a top quality goal, and Swansea showing in their own playoffs. And then Cardiff took up the last spot, thrashing Hull 3-0. And I think we'll use that to move into the relegation zone. Hull ended up finishing bottom. They picked up 6 points since New Year's Day.
Good Lord.
They were 1 point off the playoffs in January, I think. They were 8th on New Year's Day. Finished bottom.
That is awful.
Since Jared Bowen and Kamil Grosicki left, they have been god-awful, and to be honest, they deserve it. And they're down in League One, and their owners are probably partly to play as well. I think a lot of people are saying that literally Charlton, Wigan and Hull, all 3 of them got relegated. Everyone's saying that the owners are at fault pretty much for all 3. Obviously, Hull, the Allams are just not paying any money into the club at all. Obviously, Wigan aren't because they're into administration. We'll get into that in a minute. And then Charlton as well. They've had 3 owners, I think, this season. They had Roland Duchâtelet, and then he sold the club right at the start to a new consortium, who then sold it in January or March or something like that. And now there's some new owners again. So there's no stability at that club at all. But with Wigan, it's a really sad story as well. 59 points, safe mid-table, one of the best form teams in the league going into it. And they have gone down after that 12-point deduction, which is sad. Although I believe they've gone for an appeal, so they might not be totally down and out yet, but it does look like they'll be going down as well. Same thing with similar with Sheffield Wednesday as well. They might get deducted points as well.
Yeah, the crazy thing is if Wigan beat Fulham, they would have survived, which would have been a great feel-good story. I think it also shows how bad Hull are, because you put that in context. The team that finished above you in the table, who are supposed to be joining you in relegation, beat you 8-0. I mean, that shows how poor Hull are.
Yeah.
Hull made Kieran Dowell look like Cristiano Ronaldo.
Yeah. Terrible times for Hull, Charlton and Wigan. But hopefully Wigan can bounce back. Hopefully they can get all their financial problems straightened out. Same thing with Hull and Charlton. Hopefully they get some owners that actually care about the club. Yeah. So I believe that's it. Actually, no. Today, as we recorded this about an hour ago, half an hour ago, Brentford lost the first leg of their playoff semi-final against Swansea 1-0. Andre Ayew with the goal. And safe to say the ref seemed to be quite biased towards Swansea.
Yeah, well, that red card for is it Henry?
Yeah.
Was never a red card. He got the ball. His studs weren't up at all, and the ref gave him a straight red. There was literally no point in that at all.
No, it was even with the penalty. Apparently, according to Ethan and to even you, that penalty was a bit off.
The penalty was a penalty. Like, there's no denying it was a penalty, but it was a bit soft. But I think if VAR was there, it would have given us a penalty anyway.
It's even with the Norgard thing where he got a yellow card, he gets the ball, and then the player, like the Swansea player, like sort of like stretches out in front of him to stop him from Norgard from being able to move, and then Norgard gets the yellow card for it. But I can see the Rico Henry decision getting overturned by the second leg, and I see Brentford. I'm going to say Brentford get a 3-1 win at the final game at Griffin Park.
Yeah, final game at Griffin Park after their new stadium's being built. And I believe we're going to stream both of the second legs on Wednesday and Thursday. I think that was the plans. And then we'll obviously stream the playoff final the next Tuesday. So, yeah, keep your eyes peeled for those streams. We're going to be streaming a lot in August. I think we've got a lot of plans. So you'll hear about that nearer the times of all the streams. But, yeah, I think that's it from the Championship.
We've got Jude Bellingham. Moving on from Birmingham City to Borussia Dortmund.
Yes, we spoke about his move last week on the Weekly Waffle, I think. He's moved to Dortmund for 25 million as a reminder. And Birmingham decided to, earlier in the week, retire his number 22 shirt.